Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam Sarawakku sayang. Our guest of honor, the Right Honorable Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Dr. Abang Haji Abdul Rahman Zohari, Bintun Dato' Abang Haji Openg, Premier of Sarawak. The Honorable Dato' Sri Professor Dr. Sim Kui Hian, Deputy Premier of Sarawak, Minister for Public Health, Housing and Local Government. The Honorable Dato' Sri Haji Muhammad Abu Bakar bin Marzuki, Sarawak State Secretary. Distinguished guests, the Honorable Dr. Anwar bin Rapai, Deputy Minister for Education, Innovation and Talent Development for Education and Innovation. Yang berusaha Tuan Haji Mersal bin Abang Rosli, Director of Yayasan Sarawak. Yang berbahagia Dato' Dr. Haji Azhar bin Haji Ahmad, Director of Sarawak State Education Department. Yang berusaha Dr. Eliza Fazliatun binti Alias, Chief Executive Officer of Yayasan Sarawak International Secondary School. Yang berusaha Mr. Bahtiar bin Effendi, Principal of Yayasan Sarawak International Secondary School. Heads of department, heads of communities, parents, teachers, and students of Yayasan Sarawak International Secondary School. Friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to this auspicious occasion here at Yayasan Sarawak International Secondary School, a memorable moment with the Right Honorable Premier of Sarawak. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, so as to pray for blessings for today's ceremony, it is now with great pleasure to invite Al-Fadil Ustaz Muhammad Muazzam Mifzal bin Najaruddin, the Islamic education teacher of YSIS, to recite the dua. Al-Fadil Ustaz, tafaddal.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Al-Fatiha. آمين آمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين اللهم إنك سميع عليم إنك غفور رحيم إنك رب العرش العظيم. Ya Allah, we pray for your blessing for today's event. Ease everything for us from the beginning until the end. We thank you for the presence of the Right Honorable Premier of Sarawak today, and we pray that he will always be in the greatness of health and well-being, along with his families, with your will. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, we thank you for making the establishment and operation of this school an ease. We thank you for easing individuals, communities, and everyone involved in establishing this school. We pray for ease and greatness for future establishments and operations on other international schools under Yayasan Sarawak. Ya Allah, Ya Kareem, we pray that this school will always be showered with your blessings. To you we rely on hope that this school and everything in it, all teachers, staffs and individuals, along with all the physical development and facilities, will always be under your greatness and mercy. To you we pray that this school will continue to be the center of education, that catalyzing future globally renowned scholars for Sarawak specifically and Malaysia in general. Ya Fa'alu Lima Yurid, to you we rely on the God who is great, most compassionate and most merciful among other of your names. We seek refuge from you on anything that could harm us and lead us away from you. To you we rely on for your ease and mercy. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you very much to Al-Fadil Ustaz Muhammad Muazzam Mifzal bin Najaruddin, the Islamic education teacher of YSIS, for the recitation of the dua. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is indeed an honor to welcome our guest of honor, the Right Honorable Premier of Sarawak, here today at this grand memorable moment, meeting up with the students and the teachers of YSIS. So girls and boys, all right, this is the man who have made this school happen from a dream to now a reality. So please put your hands together for the Right Honorable Premier of Sarawak. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate your kind presence today. And for now, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure to invite you to focus your attention to the screen for this video presentation.
Welcome to the Yayasan Sarawak International Secondary School, Petra, Jaya. The idea of setting up the Sarawak State Private Schools was mooted by the Premier of Sarawak, the Right Honourable Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Dr. Abang Haji Abdul Rahman Zahari Bintun Datuk Abang Haji Openg on the 24th of August 2017 on his opening remarks at the Council Negeri meeting. The then Ministry for Education, Science and Technological Research was tasked to study in detail the root causes of current problems in Sarawak education. Among the main challenges of our current education system include inadequate emphasis on English, resulting in low English proficiency amongst pupils. The teaching and learning approaches currently used in our schools are mostly conventional and will not be able to equip young Sarawakians with the skills needed for them to cope with the demands of the 21st century. Due to the high cost of education, parents with limited income cannot afford to send their children to private international schools. Therefore, it is recommended that Sarawak sets up its own private international schools to provide opportunities for high potential students from lower socio-economic backgrounds to be given the opportunity for quality education and to be developed as future leaders and to contribute to the development of Sarawak. Thus, the establishment of Sarawak State Private Schools will be run like private schools by the state government. 5 schools will be established. 2 schools in Kuching, 1 school each in Cebu, Bintulu and Miri. The objectives of establishing the Sarawak State Private Schools are to identify high potential pupils from socially economically disadvantaged families and to provide them with the opportunity to realise their full potential by giving them access to quality education, and to ensure that these pupils will continue to excel in their studies. Subsequently, it is hoped that these pupils will contribute back to the state after the completion of their tertiary education. The Yayasan Sarawak International Secondary School, Petra, Jaya, is located in Kuching North, 12 kilometres from the city centre. It has 28 subject-based classrooms, equipped with science and ICT laboratories, libraries, a multi-purpose hall with badminton and futsal facilities, a football pitch, a basketball court, a state-of-the-art sports hall for games and fitness training, a performing arts room, pupils' hostels that can currently accommodate 150 boarders, and an administration block with meeting rooms and staff rooms. The curriculum. The medium of instruction and communication is English. The syllabus will be the Cambridge International General Certificate of Secondary Education, IGCSE. This will give the opportunity for students to continue their tertiary education either locally or overseas. However, to ensure that the pupils have the option to enter local universities, they will also be taught and prepared to take the Malaysian National Curriculum and to sit for their SPM examination. Thus, pupils will obtain both the IGCSE and SPM certificates after Form 5. The pupils will be provided with a strong academic foundation, especially in mathematics, sciences, English, and higher order thinking skills, which would enable them to excel in TIMSS and PISA, as well as their studies at tertiary level. The pupils are offered a range of sports and games to choose from, so they can excel as sportsmen and women. They will be trained in public speaking, leadership skills and global perspectives. The school premises were handed over to Yayasan Sarawak on 30th March 2022. The first intake of Year 7 pupils were registered on 3rd April 2022. The school term commenced on 4th April 2022. To prepare them for school, the pupils were oriented to the new environment to familiarise themselves with secondary school education and living in school as boarders, with one another, as they come from different parts of Sarawak, from different backgrounds and from different ethnic compositions, and with face-to-face schooling after 2 years of online lessons, and also with the use of English as a language of communication and instruction. It is our commitment to nurture our pupils so that they can become the model citizens and charismatic leaders of tomorrow. Yayasan Sarawak International Secondary School, a premier school.
A big round of applause for that, Yayasan Sarawak International Secondary School. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, perhaps we have lots of questions about this brand new school. Well, they just started 5 months ago and we wonder how are they doing. But before we move on to our next agenda, that is a welcoming speech and a brief presentation on YSIS, first may I have the honor to introduce to you Yang Berusaha Mr. Bhatia bin Effendi, the principal of Yayasan Sarawak International Secondary School. He has this bachelor degree holder in physics at the University of Kent, a master's in education at the University of Lancaster, and also achieved grade 8 in music from the Associated Board Royal School of Music, London. He started his career teaching English language, science, physics, and mathematics, and over the past 35 years has taught in 2 religious secondary schools, 3 fully residential secondary schools, 3-day secondary schools, including and 2 tours of being a senior assistant director of science, mathematics, and technology at the academic management sector of the Sarawak Education Department. So, Mr. B is the first appointed school principal in Sarawak who qualified with the National Professional Qualification of Headship and a Diploma in Management and Educational Leadership in 2001 from the Aminuddin Baki Institute. So ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, please put your hands together for Mr. Bhatia bin Effendi, the principal of YSIS, or famously known as Mr. B. Mr. B, please, dengan segala hormatnya, dipersilakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. A very good morning and welcome to our school. Our Right Honorable Premier, Honorable Deputy Premier, Honorable Ministers, Honorable State Secretary, Honorable Deputy State Secretary, distinguished guests, parents, teachers, staff, beloved students, ladies and gentlemen. Today is an auspicious day for our school. It is the first time that our school receives such a great audience and entourage. This can only happen with the visit of our Right Honorable Premier, and we would like to express our sincere thanks and appreciation to our Right Honorable Premier for making time in his hectic schedule just to be with us this morning. We would like to thank our Honorable State Secretary, Dr. Sri Muhammad Abu Bakar Marzuki, for his concept of today's events and his determination to see it be carried to the best possible effect. Benjamin Franklin says, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Education requires costly resources like time and money, which are often hard to find. We are indeed thankful that our country, Malaysia, is one of the few nations in the world that allocates the most on education in its annual budget. That is why in government schools, parents do not need to pay anything for school fees, textbooks, or teachers' salaries. But today, ladies and gentlemen, in this hall, we are even more fortunate. I feel that we are the most fortunate in this whole country because our state government has given us this school, the Yayasan Sarawak International Secondary School. Thus, we would like to thank our Premier of Sarawak, the Right Honorable Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Dr. Abang Haji Abdul Rahman Zahari, Bintun Dato' Abang Haji Openg, for his brilliant ideas and initiative, and our state government that approved the establishment of our school. Please allow me to share with you the journey of some significant individuals and those who have helped us personally to bring us to where we are today. This particular gentleman was tasked to make sure this project materializes. So he has been convincing everybody, the politicians, the cabinet, the education ministry, the school principals, teachers and pupils all over the state to help put this plan into reality, and at the same time to improve the quality of education and standard of English in our state. He has traveled all over the world just to see the best model of schools for us to emulate. Even though he is retired, he has not stopped his crusade because his passion to see the children in our state receive the best education is too great. I can tell you that he will not stop even the YC schools are built. He deserves to see the pupils in all the YC schools graduate to become the best leaders in our state. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me to give our sincere thanks and appreciation to our Honorable Cikgu Dato' Amar Michael Mayin Jawong. We would like to express our thanks and gratitude to Dato' Kamri Haji Afandi, the Permanent Secretary to the Ministry of Education, Innovation and Talent Development, whose clear vision, outstanding insights and high expectations has made it easy for us to plan the school direction. We'd like to thank he never ceases and believe in us in educating your children. Thank you for your loyal support for us always. On that note, we would also like to thank one of our parents, our MC, Madam Sharifa Wantaha, who went out of her way to assist us in making this event run smoothly. Thank you, Madam. And of course, we'd like to thank all our beloved pupils who have been such an endearing lot. They have such strong determination to succeed, to accept all the challenges that they face and always at their best behavior. Congratulations to all our pupils. Our Right Honorable Premier, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for making this most significant event of our school. And I will have my presentation now. Let me just share with you a few points about our school, about our background, about us, our curriculum and facilities, and the programs, initiatives, and our enrollment so far, and how to apply and what we're going to do after this. From our video just now, we have seen that our school, the idea of setting up our school has been mooted by our Right Honorable Premier on August 24th on his opening remarks at the Council Negeri meeting. And we have B40 groups who had received all of the full scholarships if they were to apply or to be in our school. And we have 4 more schools coming up, which we will explain, I think, by the Right Honorable Premier after this. Our school values is firmly established an honest initiative to deliver a high-quality education. And for our pupils, we strive that they care. That is, we want our pupils to be high in ethic values, respect for all, and to adapt themselves to what is coming, and of course, to contribute to the community, to the public, and to the nation. And our pupils will be developed in character, in knowledge and values, which would enable them to provide leadership in pursuing each other's future, capacity building, and of course, life and the career globally. You have seen from the video just now all the facilities that we have, 24 classrooms, science labs, ICT labs, tinkering lab, dance studio, the art studio, and the music room. We have workshops, and we have the dormitories, and the libraries. So this is what our school have. And for the curriculum, we emphasize on science, mathematics, English, computing, global perspectives, arts and design under the IGCSE syllabus. So as not to have just an emphasis on STEM, we want our students to be also to be versed in arts and designs. So if you can see on the right here, this is work done by our students and our teachers. So the GCSE education gives us a 5-year program. It can be done in 4 years as well, for years 7 to 11. The years will be spent acquiring knowledge and developing the 21st century learning skills. And we offer also, the national syllabus, so that our pupils are also ready to face the SPM. So we have Bahasa Melayu, Sejarah, Pendidikan Islam or Moral, Pendidikan Jasmani. So we haven't had the international language yet. I'm sorry about this. Is some of the materials are stuck up there. Anyway, for our pupils, we emphasize on the thinking skills. That is, we emphasize on critical and creative thinking skills. We do the Edward de Bono, Scott's thinking hats, and we are very into the Hiles concept maps, Tony Buzan's mind mapping, and also Norman's design thinking. And for English, we emphasize on this reading, reviews, communication, and presentation, so they are versed, and also in writing. Ladies and gentlemen, we focused on this student-centered learning, whereby we have to strive for a positive school culture with intentional relationship between teachers and the pupils, and of course, outstanding leadership in the pupils and also in the students. And with the school principles, we focus on differentiated learning, where pupils could be of different skills or standing, but they are able to go to the lessons. So we don't practice streaming in the classroom. And of course, pupils are always engaged and always on task in the classroom, so we can maximize the learning time of 1 hour per lesson. And pupil success are measured in so many other skills. It's not just in academic, but also in sports and also in their health. And assessment is ongoing. It's not just end of the year or end of the term exams, but it's ongoing every lesson. For sports, we have these games. We have archery, badminton, basketball, esports, futsal, football, hockey, and rugby. But at the moment, because we have to make way for our new hostels, we have to sacrifice the football, hockey, and rugby pitch. So there won't be any football, hockey, or rugby in the next year or so until we can find a new pitch. So we have allocated a small piece of area in the premise just after the new hostels. And for the clubs and association, all pupils are to be good in chess. We make sure they're also able to dance, to do drama, performing arts, and to debate, and of course, music and Scrabble. And for the voluntary services, we are hoping that we could go for the Duke of Edinburgh Award or the Mountbatten Rose Award. Ladies and gentlemen, all our pupils are expected to be very fit. So we emphasize on physical fitness, endurance training. All of them are going to be athletes, and they must be good in public speaking, musical talents, performing arts, and leadership, and of course, most very important is to be having a volunteering spirit. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very much into STEM. I'm very proud to say that on the 5th or 7th of August, we were involved with UKM to host Sarawak's first MySTEM Innovation Challenge. All our pupils are involved together with schools from SM Sciences, SM Science Kuching Utara. So we have trained all our teachers to facilitate STEM, and of course all our students are prepared for that. We are also hoping that YSIS, our school, will be a hub for STEM learning and also a benchmark for all the schools to come. We are also going for STREAM, which is the emphasis on reading and writing and also the arts and humanities. We have also done a roadshow last August in Bintulu, where all the school heads of the primary school were there to share about our school. And we have already started to have visits now from primary schools, and our schedule is quite full for the next few months of visits from schools, from other primary schools. We are also collaborating with the Career Discovery Mentorship Program under Future Lab and SDEC. So we have done a few programs with them, and it was very successful, and the students love it. For our training, we are in consultation with Institute Aminuddin Baki, from Aminuddin Baki Sarawak, Aminuddin Baki Utara, and Aminuddin Baki Anstek. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the data of our pupils. And last February, or last January, we had 1,260 applicants to our school and 761 set for the exams. Of the T20, M40, and B40, we have 10% for the T20, 40% for M40, and 50% for the B40. So these are the students who are offered the places, 20 for T20, 80 for M40, and 100 for B40. But of that, these are the number of pupils that have registered. So now, we can see that for Kuching, a lot of them are offered, but only 17% were accepted because there's a lot of applicants from Kuching. But from the other divisions, they are still in the red. So right now, instead of having 200 projected pupils, we only have 116 pupils. So this is the composition of the ethnics of the pupils in our school. So this is a number that was projected, 200, but these are the numbers that are here now in our school, 116. So we have 44.8% Malay, 22.4% Iban, 12.1% Bidayu, 7.7% Chinese, Melanau 9.5%, Orang Ulu 3.5%, and we don't have others. So we hope that the school heads, the head of departments, community leaders, teachers, do ask our pupils to apply to our school. So due to the constraint in the hostels capacity, we can only take 82 pupils now, and 34 pupils are commuting each day. So these are the pupils from Kuching. So to qualify for our school, pupils must achieve a band 4 in the classroom-based assessment, and they must pass our YSIS entrance assessment exams online last year, and they have to focus in these 4 languages: Bahasa Melayu, English, Science, and Mathematics. So this is the fees for our pupils. The B40 are fully funded. For M40 per quarter, they pay like 300 ringgit, which is about 100 ringgit per month. And for T20 is 300 ringgit, so 1,050 per quarter. So what we are doing this year, ladies and gentlemen, is that we have 4 points. We have focusing on pedagogy for the teachers, for the management, and also for networking. So for the pupils, we focus on problem-based learning, project-based learning, thinking skill, and for them to be independent learners. So pupils' learning are maximized by mastery learning, meaningful learning, lifelong learning, and independent learning. For teacher support, we focus on professional learning community, which is done every week, and CPD, continuous professional development, which we run every week. Consultation and CPD by Institute Ahmadiyyan Baki runs every month, and we are doing lesson study. So this week we are going to attend the International Lesson Study Conference in UKM, and we are also focusing on research for our teachers. So our teachers will be good in professionally, with teacher competency. We want our teachers to have a knowledge, authority and knowledge, and to facilitate learning and readiness. For the management, we have our management here trained by IAB and also from the ministry to be visionary, to be coaching, to empower, and to network. So our leaders, our school leaders, our head of department are going to expected to be trendsetters and educational leaders to be successful in the plans. And this is the most important here, ladies and gentlemen, is a collaboration and contribution of our community and parents. So we hope that we could be partners with the industry, with the agencies, and with other bodies so that we can prepare our pupils for the industry and other prospects. So ladies and gentlemen, in the next few years, we are hoping that with our emphasis on thinking skill, we can be the first thinking school in Malaysia, and so that our pupils will be successful. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
And inspiring words of wisdom. A great presentation, definitely. Thank you very much to Yang Berusaha Mr. Bahtiar bin Effendi, Principal of Yayasan Sarawak International Secondary School. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to our next highlight is the pupils' presentation, a 3 minutes pitching mostly on their 5 months experience here at YSIS, the sharing on IGCSE syllabus, the classrooms, hostels, and also the facilities, school events, and also later we have a thank you speech. So distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, proudly presents the pupils of Yayasan Sarawak International Secondary School. Dipersilakan.
Thank you to the Master of Ceremonies. Good morning to the Honorable Premier of Sarawak and respected guests. I, Muhammad Khairul, will be originating from Kota Samarahan, will be pitching on behalf of Yayasan Sarawak International Secondary School. There are a few points I would like to highlight about this school, mainly the subjects and the classrooms. Overall, the classrooms have provided a conducive learning environment, and thanks to the recent addition of custom tables and chairs, has allowed for collaborative discussion among the pupils. We are also able to use the space provided efficiently for whatever we require. Next, the installation of LCDs in each and every classroom has made it easier to convey information between student and teacher and student. It also makes lessons more interesting with the incorporation of digital learning. Finally, for the classrooms, they are very comfortable, with the addition of air conditioning units and fans, which is a nice escape from the Malaysian tropical heat. Malaysian tropical heat. There we go. Finally, the IGCSE pathway provided by the school is a noticeable change from the national curriculum and is a much broader approach to refine the education of Sarawakian people to an international threshold. I will now pass the stage to Nurul Aina Najiha to pitch about the hostel life.
Thank you, Carol. As a representative of the boarding students, I will talk about my experience at the hostel. Most of us living in the hostel are living far away from home. I, myself, originated from Samarahan. The school made multiple efforts to provide us with good hostel surroundings. This is to ensure that all of us can live comfortably. We are provided with the best of the best. For instance, the school installed new beds for each student equipped with a study table. We also have sufficient rubbish bins, which contribute to the overall clean lines of the hostel. Apart from that, there are various seating spaces at the hostel. We can use these spaces for discussions and briefings, apart from leisure time to bond with our friends. Hostel life has taught us to be independent and disciplined students. I am beyond grateful for all the hostel facilities school has provided. Let us hear from my friend, Elliot.
Thank you, Aina. Honorable Premier of Sarawak and respected guests. Today, I would like to talk about some of the programs that we've had in the school. We had our first successful program back in June of 2022, and that is the Gawe Raya celebration. Students were allowed to bring traditional clothing and food to be shared. It was a memorable event as it shows the unity of our members despite our religion or ethnicity. Secondly, we hosted the MySTEM Innovation Challenge back in August of 2022. In this event, we had the chance to collaborate with SM Science and Sakura. I was elected as the leader of my team and was crowned the champion for my Smart City presentation. Moreover, we had the honor of meeting our national hero, astronaut Dato Dr. Shemu Zafar, for the program. Now, last but not least, we also recently took part in the esports tournament. In this program, the students involved were given assignments, such as creating the tournament title, setting up poster layouts, searching for community members, and coming up with prize pools and rules. Needless to say, it was an event that could nurture innovative skills among students. Now, as I end our pitch, I would like to express gratitude to all who were involved in establishing the school, especially to our Honorable Premier of Sarawak. I am eternally grateful to all of you, and I strongly believe that there is no other school in all of Sarawak that is better than Yayasan Sarawak International Secondary School. That is all from us. Thank you.
First and foremost, I would like to welcome the Premier of Sarawak, the Right Honourable Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Dr. Abang Haji Abdul Rahman Zohari Tun Abang Haji Openg, to our beloved Yayasan Sarawak International Secondary School. We are very fortunate indeed to have your presence here with us today. My name is Emmeline Angel, a native Iban from Serikai. I'm 13 years old. It has been a dream of mine to study at Yayasan Sarawak International Secondary School, and here I am. That said, we are deeply grateful for our Premier's initiative for better education. Even though we know you have the whole state of Sarawak on your agenda, it is an honor to be a part of the pioneering community at the first state government international school in the history of Sarawak. We are blessed to have a Premier with a great vision that is to invest in the future of our young generation, who would never have the opportunity to experience quality education in an international school. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you to the Right Honourable Premier. We would also like to thank our beloved Principal, Mr. B, his deputies, Mr. Jim, and Ms. Kat, especially among some of us who are from the furthest villages in Sarawak. Initially, there were several difficulties when we first arrived. We did not attend school physically for the past 2 years due to the MCO. We had to leave our friends and families behind. We have to study new international subjects like global perspective and computer science. But we have been given so much support and understanding by the principal and his deputies. Together with the chief executive officer, teachers, wardens, and facilitators, they have made us comfortable, safe, and confident to be pupils of the school since the first day we stepped foot on the campus. And not to forget, we express gratitude to all of our parents and loved ones for giving us endless moral support. We would also like to thank the Board of Directors and the Board of Governors of our school for guiding and ensuring that we receive the best education. Finally, I would like to thank all my fellow pupils for all the respect, cooperation, support, encouragement, and love that we have for each other. Thank you, my brothers and sisters. Once again, Right Honorable Premier, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for giving us a great future. We hope to one day serve our people and our country.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Amberlin Angel Brianna Aldaban, Muhammad Khairil Ruzal bin Abdullah, Nurul Aina Najiha binti Narawi, Elliot Seichi Ana Enja. Thank you very much to the pupils of Yayasan Sarawak International Secondary School. Thank you very much. Amazing presentation by the students. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to our next highlight, that is a speech by our guest of honor. Thus, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the Right Honorable Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Dr. Abang Haji Abdul Rahman Zohari Bintun Dato' Abang Haji Openg, Premier of Sarawak.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, very good morning to you all. Yang berhormat Deputy Premier Datuk Profesor Datuk Sri Dr. Sim, yang berhormat State Secretary Datuk Sri Abu, who is also Deputy Chairman of Yayasan Sarawak, yang berhormat Dr. Rafai, Deputy Minister, yang berbahagia mantan Minister Dato' Amar Makir Manyin, who has been working very hard then to establish this school, yang berbahagia Pengarah Yayasan Sarawak, Saudara Mesal, berbahagia Pengetua Sekolah International School, ibu bapa, guru-guru, khususnya anak-anak sekalian. I am very amazed to see the performance of your student just now. I think they have self-confidence and are able to brief us on the schools, the courses, the school offer, at the same time the facilities available in the school. I must mention here that I would like to say thank you to Dr. Amar Makir Manyin, who was the then Minister of Education. I was discussing with Dr. Amar Makir Manyin because we noticed that there seemed to be an erosion of English language, command of English language, while at the same time we are also using our national language, Bahasa Malaysia. And second, we feel that there are lots of unemployed graduates, not because the jobs are not available, but the skills are not there. So the employers or potential employers would like to have their employees of certain standard so that they are able to communicate. And what is important is to know the technology available in our development program. We have to acknowledge the fact that English is an international language. And if you were to do your research and to get the current knowledge, there is no other option but to have a very good command of English so that you can understand the various methodologies as well as the new skills, because of the fact that technology changes very fast. If you were to look at your iPad, to handle iPad, you have to read the manual. And manual is all in English. If you were to know about green economy, green energy, you have to know English. If you were to drive electric vehicle, you must know English, because these are produced by international community. And if you were to leapfrog as a developed country, we have no other option to prepare our students to have good command of English and accepted by the international community. If we have bright students in Sarawak, you want to send them to United States, of course first degree could be in our local university. But for your postgraduate program, we may send you to overseas, to US, to UK, to Australia. Then you have to have good command of English. And that is why the Sarawak government, we have to decide that we must have our own school that produce international student, bukan jagoh kampung tapi jagoh dunia. Kalau if they were world champion, then they go to renowned universities, and that when they come back, they can transform our economy. Kepada anak-anak, to my children here, I just came back from Korea 2 weeks ago. Korea, 40 years ago, were behind Federation of Malaya. And today, Korea is a developed country. Why? Because they have adopted international syllabus. I went to one company called Samsung Biologics, and this company is producing medicine, raw materials from origin country like Asahimbonyo, but they manufacture capsule and medicine for international health, and that is Korea. You tahulah, Korea has produced cars, and now they are talking about the orbit. That is Korea. Judging from this transition, So we have decided, I have decided with my colleagues, let us start with 5 international schools in Sarawak. And one is here, right here. But then, Dato' Amam Makir Manyin gave me all the proposal then, together with Dr. Anwar, assistant. Dr. Mangil cakap dengan saya, aduh, very costly to build the school as well as to run the school. Very, very costly. Then I told Michael, that is our problem. Our problem to find money to fund the school. But our objective is very sincere. I said, one day, God may help us to get the money. Thank God, we got the money to finance your school. Mind you, we are going to build 5 international schools, 2 in Kuching, there's one here and the other one in Syrian. And then we are going to have one in Bintulu, one in Cebu, and one in Miri. And this will be an avenue for parents who cannot afford to send their student in international school to send their student and study in this school, provided they have the standard, because we have to maintain the standard of this school. And it is our intention to have fully residential school. Sini, just now I saw it's only about 70 or 80 residential, the rest day school. The reason being not enough space, not enough building. But today we are going to build another block for this residential student here in the school. And what we want to know, what we hope the outcome of this school will be smart Sarawakian, and also regimented and disciplined Sarawakian. You must have certain discipline. If you don't have the discipline, you go haywire. So to the parents, kadang-kadang kita nak jauhkan pada anak. Sayang anak ini, kita sayang. But sometimes we want our anak to be independent. And then they are critical thinkers. They have to have that mind, critical thinking. Through that concept and philosophy, then their mind will be keep on thinking what is the best for the country. Through my experience for the last 40 years in the government with my colleagues, we have to think every day, what are we going to offer to Sarawakians in the future? Because the world is changing. Today, the world is facing a critical challenge, that is climate change. Because of that, our economy has to change. The way of life is changing. Our behavior is changing. And we have to protect our environment for the future generation. They say flood because of the heat, global warming. They say glacier is dismantling, that raise the water level, the sea level. They say the future, the planet Earth is shrinking. So what are we going to do? Orang kata nak kiamat. But the fact is that that is a scientific explanation on the changes going on now. Today we are okay, I hope our children will be okay. The next generation will be okay, and they can earn a living as well as enjoy life on earth. That is our ultimate objective. And the Sarawak government, under my leadership, we are giving full emphasis on education. From secondary school, we have acquired all the university assets, Kredit, Swinburne, University Technology Cebu. ICAT is now upgraded as University College, and Centec for post program, meaning postgraduate program. These are all belong to Sarawak. We have acquired it, and we are interfacing with reputed institutions of higher learning overseas, so that there is transfer of technology and knowledge. And what is important, yet English is also important. So ladies and gentlemen, to my sons and daughters, now you got the avenue to pursue your knowledge. And with that knowledge available, you will continue to transform Sarawak just like Korea as a developed country in the future. With that, once again, kepada Guru Besar, terima kasih kerana menaikkan thinking skill, dan saya harap masa depan kita cerah. We will, as I said, do whatever we can to make sure that the future is bright for everybody. With that, thank you very much, and I wish you all the best.
The Right Honourable Premier of Sarawak. Thank you very much. May we invite our guest of honor to please remain on stage, and also may we invite our distinguished guests at the front row to join and accompany our guest of honor on stage for us to proceed with our next agenda. Let's go home right now. Proceed. Right Honourable Premier of Sarawak's visit to the school. It is indeed an honor. May we invite Mr. Ash'ari bin Hamdan, one of the UKAS teachers, educators, to bring this at the center stage. This is a portrait, the painting of the Right Honourable Premier of Sarawak. Ladies and gentlemen, may we invite our guest of honor to please place his signature onto the painting. This is to mark the Right Honourable Premier of Sarawak's visit to the school of Yayasan Sarawak International Secondary School. And for your information, ladies and gentlemen, the painting is done by Mr. Ash'ari bin Hamdan, an artist, an arts teacher for 38 years, and now teaching arts and design here at UKAS. Alright, once signed, this painting shall be kept here at UKAS, or this school, to mark the previous official visit to UKAS. Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much. And now we have a mentor presentation to the Right Honourable Premier of Sarawak. And here it is, this very special memento dedicated to the Right Honourable Premier of Sarawak. Ladies and gentlemen, it is actually a mind mapping on the school concept done by the students of UKAS. So it is actually a 3D mind mapping. So you need to glass, you need to put on the glass to actually feel the 3D effect right on the mind mapping. A project done by the Yayasan Sarawak International Secondary School students in just one day. Alhamdulillah. A big round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed an honor. So let's have everyone to try on the 3D effect of the mind mapping done by the students. It is indeed such an honor to have our guest upon the Right Honorable Premier of Sarawak, as well as our distinguished guests, right here at this hostage presentation, a memorable moment with the Right Honorable Dr. Petra Dr. Abang Haji Abdurrahman Zohari, Dr. Abang Haji Premier of Sarawak. May we invite our guests of honor and the rest of the distinguished guests to please kindly be seated. Still trying on the mic mapping. Definitely a special one. Thank you very much once again, and now may we invite our guests of honor and the rest of the distinguished guests to please. This one, so we can have everyone get this special memento from all of you. Once again, thank you very much for the final guest of honor and the rest of the speakers. So please can you be seated as what we have next. A photo session with our guest of honor. Premier of Sarawak, all students of Yayasan Sarawak International Secondary School. All right, thumbs up, everyone. A big white smile, please. Say cheese. Thank you very much. You're all amazing. Thank you very much to our guests of honor. And now may we invite the guests of honor to please a short visit to the painting exhibition done by the teachers and students of Yayasan Sarawak International Secondary School. Silakan. this auspicious occasion. Memorable moment with the right